Hi guys, I'm Andrea from movieplayer.it, of course from Italy, as the .it suggests.
Nice. Hi,
So,
Andrea.
Look,
Welcome.
look at that collection behind you. You're on
yeah,
a
yeah,
small
yeah.
screen for us, so I'm trying to pick everything up, but that is quite a collection.
Yeah, yeah. There's also like memories for the first junket for it number one. I found the boat in my hotel room like at midnight, so I was like, oh, what the?
Yeah, that's terrifying. That's not, you don't want that sort of merch. No, no,
No,
no.
no, no, no. So, guys, compliments on the show.
Thank you.
My very first question is for the both of you. The prequel leans heavily into Pennywise's mythology. What was your guiding principle in revealing just enough without giving everything away? Since that you are planning three different seasons, each one set in a specific historical period.
Well, I mean, we're Stephen King mega fans. We're fans of the book. We both read the book, I think, at an inappropriately young age, and saw the miniseries when I was
Yeah.
quite young. So I've always had questions about it. I've always had a million questions. Even before I was involved with the franchise, before I was lucky enough to come on to chapter two with Andy and Barbara, I've always wanted to know more about his backstory. There's obviously so much that's suggested about it, sort of the references to Bob Gray and the man that Pennywise based this iteration on. But I, as a fan, always wanted to know more. I wanted to know how it came upon this particular iteration, how it made the choice to utilize this, which cycles it chose to utilize it in, and why, and just the rules of it. I wanted to understand more. And so I think a lot of the creative choices were driven by our own shared curiosity. And in terms of where you sort of stopped and where you suddenly said, oh, that's too much explanation, we're really just at the bounds of story necessity and character necessity. You know, there's a character forward story, it's an emotional story. And so we were trying to pursue answers, but only as far as they were in service of character and story and emotion. And so it felt like a pretty organic process.
We basically just thought the fans would want to know more about the entity, and one of the biggest questions I always had when I was younger was, it as a monster seems to have unlimited hunger, unlimited power. Why does it stay in Derry? That was a big question. That was sort of the guiding principle for us talking about the backstory and the mythology. What keeps it in Derry? And it enabled us to lean even more heavily into the time people, the time people. A spoiler for the time
For
period.
you Stephen King fans
And we all know about the time
who
people.
also have not read
Yeah.
Stephen King,
Yeah.
you're looking for the time people.
Yeah, this is where you'll find it. No, it enabled us to lean more heavily into the time period. Now it's going to go off the rails. But these are questions that I personally, as a fan, wanted answered. And so we just expanded the mythology, and hopefully people will agree with us that it's an interesting answer, it's a clever answer as to why the entity stays here, even though it seems to be all powerful and growing, and an ever growing hunger, and that's what we wanted to do.
And did you have like complete freedom in doing that, or did you have like some kind of feedback with the man himself from Bangor?
We did have feedback from Stephen King. I mean, Stephen King has an amazing relationship with Andy and Barbara. Obviously, he trusts them with his book and had such a wonderful experience with them on the first two films. He was kind enough to cameo in the second film, so he's very plugged into this. And
Yeah.
yeah, at every stage, he had to approve. There was a treatment I wrote for the pilot episode. He read it and approved. There was a script for the pilot, read it and approved. There was a document that sort of laid out where this season was going to go that we built in the mini room with Andy and Barbara and a brilliant writer named Court Jefferson. He had to read that and approve. So yeah, we had an amazing sort of back and forth. But he's very generous in terms of the freedom he gives his collaborators and fans who are building off of his work and the way that we were on this project. So there was never any pushback. There was just a lot of support for what we were trying to do. And we were sort of our own pushback in the sense that we care about this thing as much as anyone. We are fans of this first. And so we knew as fans what we wanted to see, what we didn't want to see. We knew as fans what would feel, to us anyway, authentic. And that was the goal. We wanted to do something we could be proud of as fans of this lore and fans of Stephen King first, before we were creators or showrunners or writer producers or anything like that.
And Stephen King did have thoughts about the story as we were breaking it and as we were writing it, and we tried to be respectful of those thoughts and adjust our story to those thoughts. And he was very helpful. Obviously, he's a master storyteller. So when he has a note, you listen to it and you enact it, and you see how you see what that does to the story. And anything he ever noted was nothing but helpful in crafting the story. So ultimately, we got his complete blessing.
I'll never forget when he said to you, "Who are the time people?" And you were the king.
I pointed him back to his own work, and he couldn't find it. And then I felt like I was in a Stephen King story.
So, guys, before saying goodbye, what warning would you secretly write underneath the dairy welcome sign?
Oh, turn back. Turn back. Don't come to Derry. This is a place of deep, dark secrets and threats. And turn back now. What would you say?
All of that you'd write on the sign? I don't think the sign is big enough to hold.
Yeah, I have very fine.
I would very simply write, "Children welcome."
That's the greatest answer so far today. Thank you very much and compliments once again. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.